What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today I'm walking along the Schuylkill River, getting the day started with a nature walk. And yeah, the thought is, play the game your own way, right? Everybody should play the game of life, photography, any creative pursuit. Create in your own way, make things in your own way, live life your own way, right? Create your own game to play, right? Where you don't need to follow the rules, you don't need to follow any guidelines, especially within the realms of street photography. And I believe that this is critical. You ever play the game Skyrim? I remember this role-playing game where when I arrived at Whiterun, I would exploit this town for its gold. I wanted to acquire the dragon armor as quickly as possible. And in order to acquire this dragon armor that's very sought after in the game, you have to endure lots of grinding, right? So grinding in video game terms is essentially toil. It's just like labor within a game that becomes tedious and boring. And similarly with street photography, I believe it can feel that way at certain points, right? Where you're constantly going out there and you're not seeking any results, you're not getting any results back. You go home, you're disappointed when you look at the hard drive and there's nothing. And so I would glitch out of the map, right? In order to acquire the dragon armor, in order for me to, acquire this sought after item in the game, I would exploit the village. I would crawl under like the matrix pattern of the map, right? Think of like that grid pattern you see in video games when they're developed. Yeah, I would crawl underneath it. I would steal from the chests of the shop owners, and the next day when I spawned back in, I would simply sell their items right back to them and increase my gold at a rapid pace that allowed me to acquire this armor rather quickly. And perhaps it's wise to cheat, to speed things up, right? To play your own way. I always enjoyed getting my cheat code guidebook and entering the cheat code in different video games to play in my own way. And I think similarly to making photographs, perhaps to make pictures in a way that increases the chance of you coming home with a keeper is not, it's not the worst thing after all, right? For I've traveled all over the world for nearly a decade now, and I realize how much time you have to put in to come home with anything worthwhile. I realize how much failure you truly do endure, and I can tell you that it's a lot. That saying, 99% failure, 1% success, we hold so nearly and dearly to our hearts here in the realm of street photography. However, maybe this mindset is that of a lemming, right? Why abide by this notion? Perhaps we can come home with something that you deem to be a keeper every single day. And I believe that that is a good goal to strive towards. I think it will allow you to stay curious and to continue onward with your joy of photography. And so my simple cheat code is using a Ricoh GR3, setting it to small JPEG, high contrast black and white, and adopting this sort of snapshot approach, or real sublime dark aesthetic with the high contrast look, where everything and anything becomes photographable in this way when I view the world as a canvas. And it's truly sparking this childlike curiosity that I've maybe been missing, and it's really liberating because it's available to all, right? Anyone can enter this cheat code, whether you're an amateur or like a seasoned veteran, approaching the streets with the snapshot and with this aesthetic in the camera. It really does speed things up, and I really do come home with something that piques my curiosity every single day because of the aesthetics. There's something about it that makes everything beautiful. And realistically, with street photography, you are going to go out there and you're probably not going to see anything, but alas, we can speed this process up, right? We can go out there and we can look at the minute details that are overlooked. We can create something from nothing by abstracting reality with this high contrast aesthetic. I actually really do believe it's a cheat code, and I think that it's important for us to consider these ways of working when you know, the process becomes dull and you're grinding and you're not seeing results, you know, it kind of gets old, right? And I think increasing your chances of coming home with something each and every day, yeah, perhaps is a wise way forward. And so, I mean, that's my thought, right? I would always cheat in video games. I always like to find exploits, and I always like to find ways that, you know, allow me to see results more quickly. Maybe I'm impatient, but yeah, now at this point, I'm not really interested in following the rules or playing the game the same way. And I even remember in like 8th grade when the iPod Touch was released, and you know, it was like 13. I figured out how to jailbreak my iPod so that I could download PlayStation 2 games, play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, play certain games that you can't download onto the iPod. And you know, you would be able to customize, you know, your iPod Touch in new ways, download things, customize everything using Cydia, some software that you would install. And I remember at the end of class, everybody would give me their iPod Touches, and I would jailbreak everybody's iPods, and I would have them give me $5. I would give them back to them the next day, and yeah, allow everyone else to play the game the same way. And so maybe deep down, I've always been a tinkerer, or a hacker, and a sort of like curious person. I remember playing with Nerf guns and would remove the air restrictors, you know, cut out certain plastic pieces that would then increase the bladder size for when you would pump the action rifle back and have it blast at a higher velocity, and yeah, put it all back together again. Yeah, so I would always, you know, hack and tinker and things with the camera, with the toys and the games and everything. And yeah, it's just a fun thought. You know, I've been thinking a lot about video games. You know, perhaps it is a wise approach to life, you know, to treat it like a video game, you know, an RPG, a role-playing game. And you know, the reason why I think this is a great notion is because you know, video games are meant to be fun. You know, life should be fun. You know, as a photographer, an artist, you know, we are merely explorers at our core, right? For we move our physical bodies through the world, you know, where this road is open and there's so much to see and so much to do. And so when I treat life this way, it allows a brand new view into life, into the world, where it is this canvas. And I do find myself enjoying the very simple and mundane things with this sort of RPG mindset. You know, the first role-playing game that I remember playing was on the PlayStation 2, right? And the PlayStation 2, I think around 2002. Kingdom Hearts, right? Kingdom Hearts was the game that I remember playing as my first RPG sort of role-playing adventure game. And so the main story of the game is revolved around the main character, Sora. And Sora actually translates to the word sky, which I just realized in Japanese, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that. I also believe some AI thing came out called Sora, and you can make video now with Sora. Yeah, it's interesting. And these flowers, beautiful. So yeah, Sora spawns in on Destiny Island. He is there with his friends. Beautiful island surrounded by water, and essentially the plot or the main goal is to then, you know, unlock the door to the Kingdom of Hearts, right? The Kingdom Hearts. And on this island, Sora and his friends, you know, oftentimes looking out at the horizon, looking out at the water into the distance, you know, wondering, you know, what's out there, you know, what's beyond the horizon? Are there other worlds out there to explore? I actually remember in the tutorial part of the game, in the beginning on the island, you have to go around and find wood, find a sail, and you wind up creating a raft that you were then going to sail away with to leave this island. You know, so that adventurer's spirit is deep within this game. And there's actually this fruit on the island, and when you share the fruit with your friend, your destinies intertwine forever. And yeah, I thought that was a beautiful sort of metaphor in the beginning stages of the game, emphasizing the importance of connection, friendship, and making choices. And so when, you know, they finish making the raft and they're ready to go, darkness appears and a portal, and the Heartless appear, and the Heartless in the game are the enemies that you have to fight against. And so this portal appears, it sucks Sora into darkness, and then he starts fighting against the Heartless throughout the journey, traveling all throughout different worlds within this world of darkness, fighting against the Heartless feeding on the hearts of the people with will and power, such as Sora, wielding his weapon, the Keyblade, which essentially is light, you know, light fighting against darkness. And spoiler alert, the light wins in the end. But yeah, alas, he comes to this point in the game. It was a very pivotal point where he's fighting against his friend Riku, who was taken by the darkness, and he was a nobody, right? Heartless, soulless, if you will. And you know, when he approached Sora to fight, Sora had no weapon. And there's this amazing quote and scene where, you know, he's holding a wooden sword, and Sora's essentially like, I don't need a weapon, my friends are my power. You know, he was like, Riku, his friend, was taunting him, and so he said that my friends are my power, you know, as long as they think of me every now and then, you know, they're always with me. And like from there, the Keyblade spawns in, and there Sora is wielding the Keyblade, wielding the light, fighting against the dark. And I mean, there really is something beautiful about this, where, you know, the game has taught me that, you know, the connections you make along the journey, and, you know, the virtues and choices that you uphold ultimately determine the destiny. And so, yeah, Sora, Kingdom Hearts, the sky. You know, I remember as a child being fueled with imagination and curiosity, and I would be in the woods, you know, making teepees with forts and sticks, you know, playing with rocks, building bridges with stones, crossing creeks, you know, just a stone throw away from this location. If I keep walking this path, I wind up there at the Wissahickon. And so yeah, I spent a lot of time exploring, playing video games too. I think during my childhood, it was like the perfect mix between having like all of the best games. So like, I was born in 1996, and we had like all of the best video games, but we also would go out and play and explore and build and tinker, and it was like the perfect balance, you know. It was like the golden age of like gaming and childhood, perhaps. I guess everyone maybe thinks that way, but I feel like it was perfect. It was quite nice actually, having the woods in the backyard, being able to explore, go biking and stuff. And so yeah, I feel like returning to that childlike state of curiosity is important, right? You know, I feel as though the mind, the body, the spirit, you know, these things being connected is critical to consider with life, and especially within my street photography practice these days, where, you know, I'm very much in the now, you know, recognizing the patterns of both nature and human behavior. And by having a clear connection between my mind and my gut through fasting, I think I become more alert and sharp and focused, and improving with my photography in this sort of spirit of play, ever becoming on the street, where the world is a playground. And I just want to be like a big kid with a camera, or a big kid with a keyblade, a key that unlocks the many doors in life through the many experiences that I have with the camera. I'll never forget, actually, and when I was around 16 years old in a photography class in high school, the professor asked the students, you know, what is photography? And everyone went around the room describing what they believed it to be. And ultimately, one of the students responded, painting with light. And this has stuck with me to this day, and I still think about this because it was such a wise response. And perhaps that is what we are merely doing, is using the sun, using the light, the power from the sun. And photography, it becomes this superpower. And you know, painting with light, creating something from the light is a gift worth sharing, I'd say, and a gift worth championing. And I feel as though, yeah, photography, it just gives life deeper meaning. And I do enjoy considering this, you know, idea of light. You know, perhaps like Sora, we must wield the light. You know, considering Sora meaning sky, right? I remember being in Zambia and I would look up at the night sky and I would see all of the stars, the galaxies, shooting stars, all sorts of things, right? I could even see the satellites moving up there, right? An eclipse is coming soon, right? What are the odds that the sun and the moon align when they are so far apart, the light and the dark? It really is incredible. You know, everything in all of its chaos has order, and perhaps this connection to the world, this connection to the universe, the stars above, is what sparks great imagination. And when you're living in a city and there's lots of pollution and smog and you can't see at night and you don't look up and you see any stars, yeah, perhaps this is where it kills our inspiration, our creativity, our imagination. As we get older, the mundane becomes boring and banal, and we replace these, you know, everyday experiences with, you know, TV, celebrity gossip, social media, yummy foods, whatever it is. And yeah, I guess I just want to forever have this childlike sense of wonder and awe and everything, and I really do take this thing seriously these days as an artist, as a photographer, as somebody who's always out there exploring and moving through life. Yeah, I think it's important to find your superpower. It's important to find your vocation that keeps you interested and curious about life itself in a world that's ever so rapidly evolving technologically. Perhaps a return to nature is a wise approach forward in modern cities. So, you know, I suggest finding a happy place, you know, where I have this amazing Schuylkill River trail. I'm currently walking to an elevated space. I can look out at the horizon and wonder what's beyond. I can go out under the sun each and every day, surrounded by trees, listening to the birds chirping, you know, have beautiful architecture to inspire me outside of this museum. And I really do believe that the return to nature, you know, finding peace and tranquility amongst the chaos is important for human thriving, and maybe even going off the paths and going into the grass and walking barefoot and moving through life this way each day with a childlike sense of wonder, like an adventurer, you know, is my path forward and onward. And I find that life, you know, every day is a new one. It's like you can't make, like, in relation to photography, right? Like, no day is the same, you know, like every day is different. And you know, similarly with photography, right? Like, I could approach this same elevated view each day, looking out at the landscape, and make a photo every single day of my life, and I will never make the same photo twice. And I just believe that the infinite possibilities, thinking onward and beyond, and sort of transcending basic notions within the realm of art, within the realm of photography, with our approach and how we play our game, you know, is maybe just important to consider, think about. And so yeah, just filming with the GoPro Mini, 1080p, 30 FPS, exported to 720p for that crispy HD, small file size quality. Enjoy the ASMR. So look at the flickering light. This light is always flickering. These lampposts, man, they just bring me joy. They're so beautiful. But yeah, looking out at an elevated space like this every day, you know, not only is the sun fueling me with power, you know, being under the rays, the UV radiation, but to have a view, right, where you can see the horizon, you can look out and see this body of water ever flowing. Perhaps we should treat our photography this way, in a stream of becoming, where there's no such thing as good or bad photographs. There's only new photographs, right? My next shot is my best shot, and that's the way forward for me. And so yeah, just some random thoughts today about photography, video games, and playing the game your own way. Yeah, this is a fun way to think about life, and I think just sharing my thoughts, yeah, it brings me joy, so that's why I do it. And yeah, I just love walking and being in nature and making photos. Create your own Rocky movie. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Get it? Get it? Rocky? Come on. Rocky movie. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Stand on the edge in the face of danger and the unknown. Yeah, maybe this world can either be a prison or a playground. I choose playground. You know, welcome to Destiny Island. Look out at the horizon. Will you choose light or the darkness? Yeah, maybe as we paint with light, just follow the light. Then life will deliver its beauty directly to you.